boys and girls. So today the first thing that we're going to do is talk about drama. Now we said that drama is the genre of our story that we're going to read today. So what is drama? So a drama is a story enacted on stage for a live audience, okay? So I'm sure that some of you guys have been to plays before. Last year we went to go see Peter Pan, and that's a drama. That's a play. It's enacted on stage for a live audience. So dramatic structure. Like the plot of a story, the plot of a play involves characters who face a problem or a conflict. So we're going to look at this plot chart once more just so that we can familiarize ourselves with this again. So first you have the exposition, and that's where the characters and conflict are introduced. Okay? That's the beginning of the story. You find out who your characters are. You might find out the setting of the story. Then you have the rising action. And your rising action is where the tension builds. It's all of the events that happen before the climax. And the climax is the most exciting part of the story. It's the point of the highest tension. The action determines how the conflict will be resolved. Okay, so after the most exciting part of the story or the play, you have your resolution, and that's how your conflict is resolved, and then that's where the play comes to an end. So just like with the story, a drama or a play has a plot chart too. Any story has a plot chart because without plot, you wouldn't have a story. So the performance of a play. When you read a play, remember that it is meant to be performed for an audience, okay? So you have your stage directions, and your stage directions describes the setting and characters' actions and manners. So let's look at this example. Wyatt is sitting on the couch. He sees Paul and jumps to his feet. This is the stage direction, okay? That's what they're describing what the actor or the character is getting ready to do. So we could picture Wyatt sitting on a couch. He sees Paul, and then he jumps up. Okay, it's telling you what the character is doing. So then we have down here, his name is in bold, so we know that he's now speaking. We have stage directions again, so it's angrily. What do you want? So the stage directions tell what the character is doing, his actions and manners, okay? So if we were to act this out, we would see Wyatt sitting on a couch, sees Paul, jumps up, and angrily says, "What do you want?" Okay? So the performance, those are your theater artists. They bring the playwright's vision to life on the stage. So the theater artists are bringing the play to real life. The audience responds to the plays and shares the experience. Okay. So, setting the stage. So if we look at this picture of a stage right here, we see the stage and we see the characters or the actors, and then we see all of the audience. Now, this is a thrust stage. Okay, that's the stage that extends out into the audience, and the audience is on all three sides of the stage. Now, when we went to go see Peter Pan last year, it wasn't a thrust stage. We had the stage, and then the audience sat in front of the stage. We didn't get to sit on the sides. So your scene design transforms a bare stage into the world of the play. Scene designs consist of sets, lights, costumes, and props. So if we didn't have all of these things that work together, the play wouldn't look real. We need sets to see where they are. We need proper lighting to be able to see the actors. Their costumes play an important part, and props, which are just the objects that help make the play look like it's real. So a stage set might be realistic and detailed. So this is very detailed, or abstract and minimal. So abstract and minimal means you don't really have much. You might not have as many props or characters or their costumes because it's minimal. So the costume director works with the director to design the actors' costumes. Like sets, costumes can be detailed or minimal. So the more detailed the play, obviously, the more realistic it would feel than the minimal. But the minimal plays, if done correctly, feel real as well. So here are the props. That word is short for properties. They're items that characters carry or handle on stage. So the person in charge of the props must make sure that the right props are available to the actors at the right moment. So if a phone was ringing in a play and you didn't have a phone, but you just had the sound of a phone, it wouldn't feel as realistic as if you would pick up the phone and say, "Hello." Okay? So the character's speech may take any of the following forms. So the dialogue, that's the conversation of characters on stage. Okay, and I took off the rest because in 4th grade we don't need to know anything else right now other than dialogue. So remember that the dialogue is the talking between the characters. And then we have the audience. Finally, a play needs an audience to experience the performance, understand the story, and respond to the characters. Okay, so without an audience, you're just practicing the play, right? So you need an audience to help experience what you are doing, understand the story, and responding to the characters. So another thing that we're going to discuss before reading our story is personification, okay? And personification is when you give an animal or an object human-like characteristics. So if you look at this word, personification, it's a big word. It's a type of figurative language. So, let's see, eraser, here's the pen. If we look at this word right here, person, it gives us an idea, or it reminds us on what personification is. And once again, personification is when you give animals or objects human-like characteristics. So let's look at all of these examples. So the sun hugged me. The sun hugged me. What is the human-like characteristic that this example is giving us? Hug. Okay? Because the sun, that's the object. The sun can't actually hug you, right? What is this trying to say? The sun hugged me. Maybe that the sun felt warm against you, okay? Because the sun can't hug you, so that's type of figurative language. How about the clouds were angry today? What word in this sentence is giving the clouds a human-like characteristic? The word angry. Okay, because the clouds can't be angry. They can't have feelings. So what is this saying? That maybe the clouds were dark, or the clouds were or it was stormy outside, instead of the clouds were angry today. Okay? Let's look up here at the stars winked at me. So we have the object, which is the stars, right? And it's giving the stars a human-like characteristic. It's saying that the stars winked. Can the stars wink at you? No, no. It's saying that maybe you looked up at the stars and maybe you saw it twinkle, or you saw that it was very bright. Okay? My sneakers were exhausted. So we've got the object here, sneakers, and it's giving it a human-like characteristic, saying that it was exhausted. Can sneakers feel exhausted? No, they can't feel exhausted. So maybe they're saying that you walked a lot today, and your feet were tired. That is also personification. My feet are tired because your feet, the object, can't have a feeling. Okay? The wind made the leaves dance. So what's the object in this sentence? Right, the wind. What is the human-like characteristic that it's giving to the wind? It's saying that the leaves are dancing. Can the leaves dance? Can they boogie? No, leaves can't dance. So maybe the wind blew and the leaves blew all over the yard. Or maybe the leaves were falling off the tree and they kind of were swaying back and forth. So it's saying that they're dancing, but really they might just be blowing in the wind. So let's look at this last example. The squirrels argued over the acorn. So this one is giving an animal, the squirrels, human-like characteristics. What is it saying that the squirrels are doing? Arguing. Okay, that they argued over the acorn. Can squirrels talk to one another and argue about the acorn? No, they can't say words. So basically, what this sentence is saying is that maybe they were fighting over the acorn. Maybe this squirrel here picked up the acorn and this one kind of was chasing it. Okay, so this is personification. It's when you give an object or an animal human-like characteristics. So, let me clear off all this stuff here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to choose an animal or an object from this column and a human quality from this column to create a sentence on a sticky note. So if you are an in-person learner, we're going to get a sticky note, and you're going to take one animal and one human quality and write a sentence on your sticky note. If you are an online learner, a virtual learner, you're going to actually insert a text box here with one example, and you can try more than one example of personification. So let me come up with an example. So it says to choose an animal or object. So maybe I'll say the car and a human quality for a sticky note. So let's look through these human qualities. I'll use giggled. Okay, so I'm going to use the word car and giggled, and I'm going to come up with a sentence. Okay, so I came up with a sentence. The car giggled when it started. So I've got my animal or object. Then I have my human quality, and it's saying that the car giggled. Cars can't giggle. Okay, so what I'm saying is a figure of speech. I'm saying that the car made a noise when it started. It maybe sounded like a laugh, but it didn't actually laugh, okay? So before we finish up here, I want you guys to notice how my complete sentence is. Now, the handwriting is not the neatest because it's hard to write with a pen on a computer with a mouse, but I still used a capital letter and I still put a punctuation mark. Those are the things that you need to have a complete sentence. You have to have a subject, which you'll learn about in writing with Miss Miller, and you'll have to have a predicate. Okay? But you also have to have a capital letter at the beginning and a punctuation mark at the end. So go ahead and open up this PowerPoint on our Google Classroom and come up with one animal or object and one human quality to make a sentence. Now, if you want to challenge yourself, you could do 2 or 3. You can do as many as you possibly can, and that will be perfect, okay? So Go ahead and do that right now, and then stay tuned for more instructions.